They've been waiting
So
here,
just speak
and their
up.
time is money.
Right in the phone, guys, and we'll start going from there.
They got a lot of Marvel books they're waiting to read. Don't keep them away.
It's funny, some truck driver was driving by, and it was like a far distance, and he just told me about it. He goes, Max, there was a big monster truck driving by, and this guy put his brakes on real hard, and he yelled out, stand, stand, and he ran out. And he said, I love you, and you saw me from way over there? And he goes, yeah. And then I say to the guy, I go, Stan, check with him if he's a DC guy. The guy said, don't say those words to me. So, anyway, it was fun. Let's start with the Q&A, guys.
Anyway, it was nice seeing you
No,
all.
no.
I hope you have a
Hey, the one thing we noticed last night, you guys got a lot of women in this city. We were having dinner, and all we saw was women going by everywhere. They were on these party buses and these.
Unfortunately, that's the problem. They were all going by.
There were a lot, and he says, hey, maybe we should stay out here a few more days. And I'm like, we're game? So, let's start some questions. Go ahead, buddy.
My name's Calvin Cliff. This is not a question. I wanted to say that I've had a lot of hard times in life, and because of your comics, because of your characters, they really helped me out all the way through my childhood. When I was by myself, I had no one. I remember reading the X-Men books. I remember a friend introducing me to X-Men because I was like, into Superman and all that. And I was like,
I heard the word Superman.
Are your ears burning? It's okay.
And he said, no, there's this character named Rogue, and she can beat Superman if she took his powers. I was like, really? Yeah. And he showed me this character, and then it was his X-Men book, and I remember reading through it, and I was like, all these characters.
It's not a question. He's writing a book.
I'm sorry, but I'll make it short. I think because of you, it's the reason why I'm here today. Without your books, I don't know if I'd be here. So.
Okay, I just have to warn you about one thing. Even though I look like a model of physical perfection, my hearing has gotten so bad, I'm like half deaf. So when people ask questions, all I hear is so he translates for me, so that's why I have to have him repeat the question, the answer. What was that? What did he say? I hope you could hear it.
He says, growing up by himself, and he had no one, but all through life, your books is the one that got him to where he needs to be, where he has no friend, no nothing, and your stories and your characters made him the man he is today. He just wants to.
Well, that makes me feel damn good, and thank you very much.
I just want to thank you for creating such amazing characters for all of us to read for so many years. Thank you for that. And then I wanted to know if there's a character we haven't met yet that's in your mind that we might get to meet soon.
No, I think I've written just about everything I've thought about. But if there is a new one, it'll hit me and I'll write about it and you'll see.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
I couldn't hear. Well, he spoke very loud. The other guy I had trouble with.
Selective hearing, guys, that's what I call it. I say, hey, Stan, you remember that buck you owe me? I don't remember.
My name's Gavin, and I was just wondering, what was your favorite cameo in all the Marvel movies that you were in?
I heard that, my favorite cameo. You may remember one in the Thor movie where Thor is having a drink of a very strong brew. And I'm standing next to him and I said, hey, give me a sip. And he says, no, this is too strong for you. And I said, don't be silly, come on. And I have a sip. And in the next scene, they're carrying me out. Now, the reason that's my favorite, I don't know if you've thought of this, 2 scenes. All my other cameos are 1 scene. Here we have 2 scenes. Next, I hope I get 3 scenes, and pretty soon I'll be in the movie.
But you have 3 scenes, 3 cameos in the Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
You reminded me I have 3 scenes in Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Right? Yeah, you did the Watcher in the middle, and then at the end, and then on the video, it's the. You guys seen that video, the dancing video, the disco video? Yeah. It was funny.
They can't get enough of me.
So 3, we're up to 3.
Thank
We're
you.
looking for 4. Did you point to somebody?
Yeah, right there.
Hey, back in the day, you had the Hulk be one of the first superheroes to have his identity revealed to the public. So I was wondering, have you ever thought about letting him keep his secret identity?
The Hulk.
Yes.
In the beginning, back in the day, the Hulk's identity was revealed through Banner.
Now I can't hear you.
I said the Hulk's identity was revealed to be Bruce Banner.
That's right.
Would you want it to keep it as a secret, you say?
Yes.
Would you want it to change it?
Doesn't everybody know the Hulk is Bruce Banner?
Prefer changing it, knowing how it is now, to keep it as a secret?
Doesn't matter what I would have preferred. The way it is now is the way it is. And I'm not going to criticize the people running Marvel because they may not give me any more cameos. Yeah, the Hulk is okay the way he is. He doesn't worry about things like that. He just smashes things. Hulk smash. That's some of the best dialogue I ever wrote. Hulk smash.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Sam.
I didn't see him point to anybody. Why is somebody talking and you didn't point to him? I have to see you point to somebody.
Right there.
Did you point to
Yes,
him?
that guy.
Okay, good afternoon.
Who is your most underappreciated character? Who should we be paying more attention to?
What was that? I was trying to ask you, what is your most unappreciated character that we should be paying attention to?
They've all been pretty much appreciated. I don't have any complaints, really. The most unappreciated one, I hate to say this, it's me. Why I'm not starring in one of the movies, I'll never know. But you have a lot of influence. Maybe you can do something about that. A few letters, postcards, phone calls, you know.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
that
you.
person right there.
Why don't you ask over here? Everybody is over there. Don't these people have any questions?
There's only one microphone over there.
Oh, you have to go with the microphone. Oh, you mean people over here who have a question walk to the microphone?
There you go.
So that's why you're always looking over there. Life is so strange. Go.
Hi. I would just like to ask, what is your personal favorite comic book character that you've created?
My favorite comic book character that I created. I guess Spider-Man. Because he's the most like me. He's good looking, he's smart. Yeah, I like Spider-Man.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. No, you're welcome. That's me. See, when someone says thank you, you say you're welcome. You're welcome.
He's schooling me, guys. For 13 years, he's been schooling me.
Hi, my name is Marie, and I actually have a slightly more serious question. I know that in Europe there are a lot of mythologies that, like King Arthur and Roland, and I've kind of thought that the comic book heroes and their stories, especially since they've been going on so long, are sort of a mythology for America.
They're the mythology for America. It
Yes.
sounds very important and impressive, and I love that. So I'm a mythologist.
Yeah, I think so, because
that's
your
great.
stories are long-lasting, they change, they get retold, adapted. So thank you for making myths for us.
Well, you're welcome. I did it all for you. Thank you. I like when they say nice things. Not like when they get out of here. That's different. Anybody else?
Yeah, it's right there.
You can see the people there? See, not only do I not hear well, there are people there? Okay.
Hello, Stan.
Hello.
You are my hero, and your heroes have got me through a lot of dark times.
Your heroes has gotten through a lot of dark times.
Well, I'm very glad. A, I'm glad I'm your hero. And B, I'm glad my heroes have gotten you through stuff. So that's about as complete an answer as I can think of giving.
My name is Chris, and I am releasing my first comic book today.
You mean a book that you did?
Yes.
Your own book? Well, lots of luck with it, but I hope it doesn't outsell Marvel, because then I'm not going to be too happy about that, you know. But I hope you do well. Good luck.
I would like to give you a signed copy.
This man receives only... Caveman. Hey, it's not quite a comic book, it's more like a graphic novel. It's got more words than the average comic. But it looks good, it's very professional looking. I'll look at it when I get back to wherever the hell it is I'm going. I never remember. He tells me where we're going next. And lots of luck to you.
Do you have any advice for me?
Do you have any advice for inspiring you?
Yeah, keep writing. The more you write, the better you get. And write stuff that you like. Don't write something that you figure, it's not bad, but I think they'll like it. You never know who they are or what their taste is, but you know your own taste. So always write something that you think is great, and the chances are there are other people who have the same kind of taste. So always write for yourself as your audience, and write stuff where you say, boy, that's good. I did that every night. I look at what I wrote and I go, boy, that's good. It drove my wife crazy.
Hi, Stan.
Hi.
My name is Emily Orbison, and I've heard on a couple fan blogs that the character Dr. Octopus from Spider-Man was based off of the singer Roy Orbison. Is that true?
That was so high. The voice was on such
Sorry.
a high level I couldn't make out. Dr. Rock.
Based off of Roy Orbison, the singer.
Based on what?
Roy Orbison, the singer, the guitar.
Is this right?
No, I just dreamed them up. I'm always looking for some animal or fish or bird that would make a good villain. So I had the vulture and Doc Ock. It occurred to me that an octopus with a lot of tentacles, that would be pretty scary. So that was all, it was as simple as that.
Cool.
I like the name, Doc Ock. See, the thing about our competing company, I won't mention their name. Well, they don't really compete.
Tell them the truth.
They never give their characters nicknames. Like they would call him Dr. Octopus. But somehow Doc Ock has a warm and tender feeling. Makes you care a little bit for him. All right, I don't want to make a speech. Go ahead.
Let's go to the next one.
Hello, Stan. I heard you on a few podcasts.
Wasn't I great?
Excelsior. I wonder, people get a little starstruck around you. Have you ever been starstruck around anyone else?
I missed that.
All the celebrities you've met. Have you ever seen one you're like, holy shit, it's...
You mean where I was impressed?
Yes.
Who get impressed? No, I'm impressed with all of them. I've met a number of celebrities, and I'm almost in awe of them. People who've done really great things, And I've met a lot of them.
I got a funny one. If you guys ever get that book, The Amazing, Incredible Stanley Story or something like that it's called, it's a couple of things, but the celebrities in there, it's really funny. The one that stands out to me the most, we went to the Golden Globes, and we're having fun, and you got celebrities galore everywhere in there. He's having a seat, and I'm like from here, over here, and all of a sudden I see that way. Oh, damn, Steven Spielberg, oh my God, I'm gonna go say hi. So I'm walking over there, and no, it's just, you can walk, nobody's stopping you. I'm like from here to this guy in the front row, I said, I'm gonna say hi to the man. And some guy taps me on the shoulder, I said, damn it, security's gonna stop me. And the guy goes, excuse me, and I turn around and I go, oh shit, it's Brad Pitt. And I'm like, hey, how you doing? And he goes, by the way, are you with Mr. Lee? And I go, yeah. Hey, would it be okay if I say hi to him? I said, yeah, come on over. So we walk over, I go to Stan, hey Stan, Brad, Stan. He fanboyed out. It was just like, hey, tell me why the reason the Green Goblin this and why the Kingpin is just going off, And the photos that you see in there, they're true. The thing that stood out the most, this is Brad, well, I'm Brad, and then that's Stan, blah, 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 and all of a sudden I'm back over here. I see his wife coming up behind him. So she stands right here, like, boom, you can't miss me. And all of a sudden, Brad is just, and I'm just like, okay, he's not gonna say something. And then finally she starts tugging on his jacket. And he's just going off, tugs on his jacket again, and then finally the turns, honey, aren't you gonna introduce me? Oh yeah, Stan, Angie, Stan. So Stan, what were you saying about that? I swear to God, man, it was just like, he blew her off, and they were just going at it, just talking, and that was it. And then the only one that stood out to me, which was, I found a letter, and he gets a lot of letters from different celebrities, and he piles them up and just leaves them there, and I was just going through it. There was one that stood out the most, is one that came, back in the day, they used to send letters that had these, the trimming of the letter itself had this red, white, and blue trimming, and that meant overseas. So we got it, and he got it, and I opened it up, and I'm reading it. Hey, Stan, I just want to tell you that my two boys love you, and everything about this, and you, and blah, 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 everything positive and great, and my boys inspired to be good men like his father, and like you. I'm like, okay, cool, and then at the bottom I go, Linda McCartney, and I'm like, listening, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, Linda McCartney. And it was from her. And then I start going through all these letters, and he has letters like that. From different people, from presidents, first ladies, actresses, some of them, I love you, Stan, if there's anything I can do for you. And I said to him, Stan, you got all these letters. You know what he tells me? Yeah, just put them with the rest of them over there. But he's very humble, and when he meets a lot of the celebrities, they're just like all of us, fanboys.
I may write a book. Celebrities are like people.
It's true. It's true. No, George Clooney, another guy, man, going through CNN, walking through there, and he walks by and he goes, hey, Stan, hello. And George Clooney goes, hey, that was Stan Lee. That's Stan Lee. But anyway, so yeah.
Thank you.
That's it.
I'll tell you about President Bush. I was to receive some sort of a little award that he gave out every year. And he gives it to a few people for whatever they've done for the arts. So I was waiting to get my award, and in front of me was, what's her name? Olivia de Havilland. She's the one who was usually the co-star with Errol Flynn in all of his movies. She was always the girl. So he gave her this little thing that she wore around her neck. He gave it to her first, and he gave her a little kiss on the cheek. Now it was my turn. So he gave me the thing, and you're supposed to say something. All I could think of saying was, I hope you're not going to kiss me on the cheek. And he started laughing, and I started laughing, and a photographer took a picture of the President Bush and me laughing like crazy. So whenever I show that picture to anybody, I say, oh yeah, we're bosom buddies. We always kid around and we're laughing. I'm a big phony also, in case I didn't tell you that.
Anyway, let's go to the next question.
In 1970s, late 1970s, when the rock group Kiss had their own comic book through Marvel, and they poured their blood into the red ink, what was that experience like?
What experience?
The one with the Kiss, remember, with the blood.
Oh, yeah, what's the name of the Kiss leader? Gene Simmons. Gene Simmons came up to the office, followed by these other guys. And said, I want to ask you a question, Stan. I said, all right. He said, do you think this outfit looks too outrageous? And he put on these shoes that were, the heels were about 6 inches, and he stood that high when he was all finished in costume. And, you know, I'm used to guys like Dr. Doom and the Vulture and stuff, so I said, no, that's not outrageous at all. And he said, thank you. And we talked a little, and he left, and I'd like to think that I'm the reason that Kiss looks the way they look. If I had said it looks too outrageous, he'd probably have thrown it all away. Oh, the blood, there's another thing. I will never forget this. He said, you know, my fans love us so, the Kiss people. What I would like to do is offer them a chance to get, we were doing a Kiss comic book at the time. He said, I'd like to offer them a chance to get a Kiss comic book that has our blood in it, so they could own a little bit of our blood. I said, what are you talking about? And it ended up, we drove to Buffalo where the books were printed, and the Kiss guys stood in the room where the ink is that they print the book out of, and each of them stuck a little needle in his finger and let a few drops of his blood get into the ink so we can advertise for that issue of the book. You're buying a copy of Kiss with their own blood in it. Boy, did that sell out. We must have some bloodthirsty viewers to read ourselves, didn't you? Is that what you wanted to be told? What do you want? Well, that's what I told. Your wish is my command.
Hey Stanley, my favorite of what got me into comics was the movie Logan, but my favorite superhero has to be Spider-Man. And what do you think about Fox, about like canceling the no X-Men merchandise and no Fantastic Four comics?
What do I think about what?
It's about what Fox Studios is doing and how Marvel is not pushing the X-Men line so much because they don't have the rights.
Oh, sooner or later. No, they're going to get the rights back to all our characters. They're working on it. And they're still making X-Men movies and stuff. Don't worry about it. You'll get more Marvel superheroes than you have time to look at in the next few years.
And what does it take to be a comic book artist? Since I'm drawing comic book.
What does it take to be a comic book artist?
Takes a hell of a lot of talent. Where were you pointing over there?
I got some pictures.
Actually, to be a comic book artist for Marvel, you just have to be able to draw at least as well as the people drawing the strips now. But beside that, you have to think like a movie director, because you not only draw the characters, you also have to draw them in the most interesting way. You position the characters all the time. I don't know if you're aware of that, but all these artists, if they're drawing a character running, let's say, there's a million ways you can do that. It could be an overhead shot, an undershot, a side view. It could be just a shadow on the wall moving. There are so many ways, and it's up to the artist always to find the most interesting and colorful way to draw every panel. And why am I talking so much?
It's funny sometimes. He thinks, sometimes when we go to panels, Max, what can they possibly learn from me? I go, Stan, I've been with you for so long, and I hear these stories all the time, and it's like the first time I'm hearing it. And he doesn't.
That's because you don't listen.
Honestly, it's just like recently they started talking about a lot of Kirby. He starts talking about Jack, and I'm like, really? He liked this and he liked that, and I'm just like, amazed, man. Just the story this guy has, the origin of Spider-Man, you know, Mosquito Man, Fly Man, Spider-Man. It's like the first time, and again, he doesn't get this. All he thought at the time, I wrote these stories to get by in life, to pay my rent, to have a life, but he doesn't get it that every little story that he put in there is a little part of him that we can all relate in some way. And that's why I say to him that you gave us something that will outlast all of us, Dan.
So send me money.
So anyway, that's what I wanted to say. Go ahead.
Well, good morning, Stan.
He's over there. Selective C.
So, what was your favorite Spider-Man story to work on?
You know, I am terrible at favorites. A, I can't remember them all. And B, I love everything I do. I am my biggest fan. I haven't told you that. I love every story I write. If I didn't love it, I wouldn't submit it. I would cross it out and do it over again. Why are you trying to get my attention?
Because there's one story it's not his favorite, but it's the one that stands out. It's the one that Spider-Man No More, when he gives up and he puts the costume in the trash.
The thing I loved best about that was the cover that John Romita drew, with Spider-Man walking away and his costume draped over a garbage pail where he had left it. That was one of the most dramatic covers. It said, Spider-Man No More, or Spidey No More, something like that. Yeah, I love that. But he came back, don't worry, he's back on his way, I promise.
Can you please say Excelsior?
Can I what?
Excelsior.
You want me to say the word? That great word?
The magic word.
I usually save that for the end of my panel when I'm saying goodbye. So if I say it now, it means we're finished.
No. Never finished.
Never finished, no. Well, anyway, the word Excelsior is a great word. If you look it up in the dictionary, one of the meanings of Excelsior is it's those shaving things that you put in a package so that the delicate thing in the package won't be broken. You know, if you have a box and you're sending something, you put a lot of stuff in there so it won't, they call that stuff Excelsior. That's not the Excelsior I'm talking about. They call it popcorn now? I didn't know that. They're afraid to use my word. And in New York State, and I come from New York, in New York State, the Great Seal of the state has the word Excelsior on it. And I always wondered what it meant, so I looked it up. And one of the definitions in an English dictionary was upward and onward to greater glory. Now, what could be better than that? Upward and onward to greater glory. So I figure there are two good things about that saying. One, it sounds so good when you say it. And two, DC would never know what the hell it means.
There you go, you gotta say it 4 times.
Thank you, Stan.
You're welcome.
What is your favorite Spider-Man movie?
They're all my favorite. I don't even have a good enough memory to remember all of them. But everyone I see, I say, oh boy, this is the best. This is the best. What does this mean? Shut up and drink now? Whenever I'm talking too much, he gives me something to drink.
Hey, Tobey Maguire's his neighbor. I didn't know that. He was running along, and I'm like, holy shit, Tobey Maguire. I'm telling him how Tobey's your neighbor down the street. The first Spider-Man. Yeah, he's still there. It's funny, man. He's a great guy. He has so many people around his house. I pick him up, we're leaving, and all of a sudden I see this guy from this side just running up to the car. I said, damn it, fanboy. And we really want to get out. And the reason I said that is because they figure out where he lives. Comes up, and I go, Stan! I'm like, oh my God, Stan, do you want to say, it's a fan, come on. I said, all right. lower the window, and I look, Leo DiCaprio.
I'm so tired of giving him acting lessons. It was the way he's a big Marvel fan. In his house, he has huge posters on the wall, all over of Marvel posters. He's great, yeah.
He comes over and says, Stan, I'm your neighbor, and I just want to invite you over to my house. And I'm like, okay, you know, what is he going to possibly show him at his house? You walk in there, it's like, holy moly, this guy's really our Marvel fan. And what I'm leading to, tell him what you guys were talking about.
Doing a movie of my life with him playing me. And I said, well, I'm not sure you're good looking enough. You know, we'll test you, we'll see how you look, how it comes out. And don't get too excited, I'll let you know.
So, there you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Are we finished?
Can you tell us anything about Infinity War?
About what? I can't.
Yeah. No. And the story on that part, so I'll tell you this. We were at a panel, I'm never on stage with him. He was on a panel with somebody. A friend was in the back, I ran back there. This is the time when Spider-Man was, I think it was Spider-Man 2 where the lizard was in it. I think, I don't remember. Yeah, it was a lizard. And somebody asked me, Stan, can you tell me your cameo about your upcoming cameo in Spider-Man? And he's a name dropper. I'm over there and I'm running to the front. Yeah, I'm doing this and I'm doing this with the music, and in the background, Spider-Man is fighting the lizard, and it wasn't released yet who the villain was. I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. He said, what's wrong with you, Max? I go, I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna hear it, I'm gonna hear it. By the time we got downstairs, my phone starts going off. Tell that man to keep quiet and not, and it's somebody from up there. You can't talk about it, you're there for a reason. And I was just like, fed up. And I said, you effing tell him that. I give him the phone. Well, and the guy says, I can hear it says, Stan, I appreciate you if you're not mentioning anything about the movie or anything like that. And you know what he says? I'll talk to whoever I want to. So, there's a reason I'm here about Infinity Wars. But what we can't say about Infinity Wars is that he filmed both parts, 1 and 2. We did Ant-Man, we did Black Panther, we did, there's another one, what was that other one? Ant-Man. Oh, wait.
New Thor?
Hang on. Yeah, we did Thor. Hey, you guys said his best cameo. I've seen them all his cameos. And the Guardians is one of my favorite. But the one that he actually, because when he does cameos, they say, Stan, show up, do this, this is your lines, and go. But in Thor, Taika, I think the director's name is, they did it their way, and it was okay. And then they said, Stan, what would you do? Yeah, let me improv. He nailed it. Everybody loved that scene. They're like, oh my God, this is gonna be awesome. And all I can say, that'll give it away, I think. All I can say is that he plays a big part. It's like red line. All I can say, he plays a big part in someone's scene. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. He didn't get it, what he was doing, but it was so funny, man.
I don't get what I was doing. Am I going to sit up here and let you insult me?
No,
I don't get what I was doing.
But
I may not hear well anymore. I haven't lost my mind.
It's like when
you leave the stage, please.
No. It's like this. You guys saw the first Thor, right? You know how they found the hammer in the crater, and his scene in the cameo in the Thor movie was the truck driver and trying to rip it out, right? Well, we saw the premiere. We were at the premiere, and we saw it, and I'm just like, oh God, that was okay. And then the director comes up, Stan, what did you think of your cameo? I loved it. It was great. I'm glad you're happy, Stan. But
you got to make the director happy all the time.
See, but I'm a truthful guy, and he says, well, Max didn't like it. And the guy took it personal. You know, it's that one guy, you got 100 people, and you gotta make 100, but if that one person isn't happy, you're just like, why? You got 99 happy, but that one, he's gotta find out. So he asked me, what was wrong? And I said, well, I would have done it differently. He goes, how would you want Stan like that? I go, yeah, but it would have been done differently. He goes, how would you tell him, Max? Tell him. Well, if you really want to know, this is my cameo. The Thor gets kicked out of Asgard, the hammer comes down, hits the crater, and it bounces out to the street, out to the road, right? Scene cut. Next scene, the camera's on somebody's feet. He's just walking along, and then all of a sudden, camera pans up the stand, and he's like, what's this doing here? Someone can get hurt. Picks up the hammer, throws it in the crater. That would have been his cameo. And the director said, looked at it and goes, no, I liked it my way.
This is the last time I shared the stage with him. He got a bigger laugh than I get. You're through, you're finished. Enjoy this, it's your last thing, whatever it is.
But Infinity Wars, all I can say about that is you guys are in for a treat. It's massive, 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 massive. So there you go.
Thank you.
Where am I looking?
Right there.
Hello, Stan.
Hi.
In your movies that you're making, what is, how much creative influence do you have? I know in the newer movies that are coming out, like especially Spider-Man and things of that nature.
Very little. In fact, hardly any. They do the movie. I go to see it. I say it's great. They say thank you very much. Now get out of here. We have work to do. And that's about it.
I'm going to introduce my daughter. This is Emerald. She saw your first Spider-Man 2, I think it was, when she was little, and she's been hooked ever since.
I'm glad to hear that.
Hello, Stan. I wanted to know, what's the most interesting Spider-Man villain you've worked on?
Most interesting one.
Spider-Man villain you worked on.
Oh, that's for you to decide. I like them all. I like Doc Ock. I like the Green Goblin. I like the, isn't there a guy who turns his body to stone?
Yeah.
Like him. What do I call it? Stone Man?
No, that was a Great Gargoyle. The Great Gargoyle.
The Great Gargoyle, yeah.
But there's
I
one
can't even remember them all. But
the one story that you told me that you like about Spider-Man, the Green Goblin. Green Goblin is how, when you wanted to reveal his identity.
Oh, yeah. I had a big argument with Steve Ditko, who was drawing the strip at the time. When we had to reveal the identity of the Green Goblin, I wanted him to turn out to be the father of Harry Osborn, that's right. And Steve didn't like that idea. He said, no, I don't think he should be anybody we've seen before. So I said, why? He said, well, in real life, the bad guy doesn't always turn out to be somebody you've known. And I said, Steve, people have been reading this book for months, for years, waiting to see who the Green Goblin really is. If we make him somebody that they've never seen before, I think they'll be disappointed. But if he turns out to be Harry's father, I think that's an unusual, dramatic twist that we could play with in future stories. And Steve said, no, that's not the way it would be in real life. And I said, well, in real life, there's nobody called the Green Goblin. Anyway, so Steve was never happy about that. But since I was the editor, we did it my way. There you go.
Hello, Stan.
Hello.
Hi, I want to say I'm sorry. I didn't have my Iron Man suit completely ready today, so I had to come dressed as Deadshot from DC.
Your Iron Man what?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm DC. I'm DC Deadshot.
Somebody show that man out.
I'm sorry. I know you do a lot of cameos in like Fox movies like Deadpool and some of the X-Men. So I wanted to know, was there a reason why you weren't in Logan or any of the Ghost Rider movies?
Wasn't I in them?
We were traveling together.
We were traveling. But I'm sorry I wasn't in him. I didn't know I missed it.
Yeah, a couple of times is what.
Tell them to do the movie over again.
Like X-Men First Class, they were filming that down in the Gulf, and we were on the other side of the country the other time when they wanted to do. Actually, it was funny. Bryan Singer came to Hawaii where we were at, and he said, "Stan, I gotta get you in my cameo Apocalypse, and this is you." And Stan told him, "Well, if you want me, you come to me." And he goes, "Great, we'll do it." And he goes, "But I'm leaving tonight back home." And Stan said, well, Bryan said, "We'll come to you." I didn't believe it. The next day, he shows up with the film crew in front of Stan's house. And that's how you got the scene in Apocalypse. That's his front entrance to his house with his wife. So it was good. And then the last time we did that one, actually again, Bryan Singer, we were in Dallas, and one of his guys shows up at the convention. "Max, I'm so-and-so, I'm with Mr. Singer," and he wants Stan to do his cameo. And that was for the Gifted, the new TV series that's coming out. And I told Stan, anything for Bryan, let's go. It was the shortest time on set. We show up, "Stan, this is what I want you to do. I said, "Great." He does his scene, we were gone. But again,
I just thought, maybe I could make a living just doing cameos. What if I advertised Stan Lee cameos available, and I charged like $100 a cameo, and anybody doing a movie, you know?
Do you have any idea if you charge $100, you would have like...
Well, that would be good. I'd make a lot of money.
No, you would have a credit line. You would be putting people out of work.
Good. Make me feel good. Work on that when this is over.
He does that. I'm not lying, guys. He meets celebrities. And, "What do you do?" "Oh, yeah, but by the way, if you ever need something for a cameo, let me know." And he did it. He did it a couple of times. I'm like, "Stan, you're in this..." We did kind of think, what the hell we did? He's done so many. I mean, watching Princess Diary 2. You guys ever see that? He's in it. I'm like sitting down, all of a sudden, this is my uncle or something. I look and I'm like, where was I? First thing I go, where was I? Gucci thing or whatever he did. And then he did the cameo for, oh my God, the cameo for School of Cameos. You guys ever see that? The Audi commercial? It's another one he did.
They didn't give me a free car.
No.
Listen, if I charge, let's say, $100 a commercial, and if I did one every 5 minutes for an 8-hour day, how much would I make?
8 times 5?
I'm not good at math, but that would be nice, wouldn't it? And it's easy to do a cameo. You've only got a couple of lines to remember.
You guys just heard what he said about the car, right? The Audi. Went to the Doctor Strange premiere. Doctor Strange's car is what? A Lamborghini? I hate him. Oh, I can't say that. I was upset with him. He said, we walk in and Stan's doing his thing, and then the president and the CEO and the powers to be for Lamborghini were there. Hey, we want Stan to take a photo with the car. Stan's right there, posing with the car and everything. And he made such an impression on those people. They go, Stan, how would you like that Lamborghini right there? And Stan, that's great. I would love it. But I no longer drive. And I'm like, Stan, don't say that. I'm your driver. Thank you for the offer, but thank you. And I'm just like, oh my God, why did you do that?
What's wrong with me?
I don't know what's wrong.
Maybe I didn't hear correctly.
Yeah, so there you go.
I could have had a Lamborghini.
You could have had a Lamborghini.
That's better than $100 an hour.
You could have had an Audi. You could have had a Jaguar. There's multiple times.
And you know the irony about it, I can't drive anymore because my eyesight isn't good enough. Can you imagine having a Lamborghini and not being able to drive it? I'm better off not having it.
I'll go with this. He dropped off his car. He had a Mercedes at the time. He dropped it off. And you know how dealers are like, hey, your car's in the shop. Why don't we offer you another car? Pick a car out, whatever you want to drive. and I can't remember the name of the Mercedes it is, but it's like $250,000 or $300,000. It's the one that the doors open up. Stan, why don't you take this car out for the day until your car's ready, and we'll call you when it's ready. 2 days later, right? And so Stan says, you got a lot of nice cars. That one looks good. That one, wow, look at that black one. And you know what car he picked out? He picked out this Eco car, this little 2-door miniature car. And I go, Stan, you can pick out any car. We can go drive it. No, I want that little car. I mean, I'm a big guy. I'm like, he's like this, just driving it. Ain't it great, Max? I can make my turns. I can get around a lot quicker. And I'm like, Stan, you gave up so many cars. Why did you do this?
These people didn't come to this convention to have you making fun of me.
No.
I should be treated with a little more respect. I think when you discuss...
They're getting inside stories about you.
Yeah, but they all make me sound like an idiot.
No, you're not. Okay, here's one. This was awesome.
This will probably be the worst of all.
No. We're at the house, just having dinner, relaxing, and then the next thing you know, we get a phone call. This is when they had some award show. They call up and they said, hey, is Mr. Lee available? Yeah, sure, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. I am so-and-so with so-and-so person. I'm like, what? I go, okay, so I'm kind of looking him up real quick to see if this guy's real. And I said, oh yeah, he is his agent. Yeah, sure, here's the address. I tell him, hey, Stan, that was Robert De Niro, his agent. And he goes, yeah? He goes, he wants to come over and say hi to you. For what? I go, he wants to come over. Yeah, sure.
Oh, I'm not giving any more acting lessons.
He showed up right there. He's like, Stan, I was in the area. I wanted to say hi to you. He took it like, it's him. The person that went crazy at the time was his wife.
She liked Robert De Niro.
So let's take a picture. So they take a picture, and all of a sudden, Stan, his wife, and Robert. And she's like, Stan, get out of the way. Honey, I'm married to you. He goes, yeah, but this is Robert. So, but it was good. Anyway, little inside stuff, guys. This guy's life, I wish one day when they make that movie, they talk to me. This guy's life is so freaking amazing. The things he does, the people that he meets. I mean, there's not enough things. I can talk to you all day about this stuff. I've been recording him for the last 5 years, everything. And the stuff on there, it's like some of it is really emotional because it deals with the fans. And there's some times that are like, wow, that really just happened to him. And the one that stands out the most, and I keep talking, is that this one little girl came up and said to him, Stan, he gets me emotional. She goes up to him and tells him, Stan, I never had a father, I never knew him, I never had a man in my life, and every time I turned to a relationship, it always turned out bad. And the one thing that never turned away from me was you and your stories. And he looked at Spider-Man a lot, and she just took that part. With great power comes great responsibility. So she took the responsibility of herself to make a better person of herself, never to ever again to lower her morals or compromise herself. And she saw him like this, and she just told him that, and she just literally broke down. I mean, just like a major breakdown, and she just went off, and she said, thank you. She's in the corner crying, literally just crying. You can hear her. He says, what's going on? I said, the girl that was just up there, she's having an emotional breakdown. He just got up, walked right over there. She had her back to him, and he comes up and just puts her arms around her. I mean, this little girl just busted up. And he says, I will always be here for you. See, those are the things that get me about him. I gotta tell you, he doesn't understand what he's done. He doesn't get it. One day he will, but we're all fans, and there's nothing more that we would ever do for you, Stan. Just We love you. So anyway, let's go to the next question.
Well, I just want to say, Sam, I love you, we love you. I just think that you're a marvelous person and that you're a real stand-up guy.
Absolutely. And I can't stand up. It takes me a few minutes to get my balance.
Hi, Stan. I would just like to say thank you for all the great memories growing up and all the creativity that you brought to Marvel. Since X-Men is one of my favorite teams, just want to ask you about the creative thought pattern around creating X-Men.
The reason, since X-Men is his favorite team, what came up? Where did the idea come from? X-Men? Why?
Why did I do X-Men?
Yeah.
I wanted to show that people can be different and still be good and still be worthwhile. You don't only have to go with people who are just like you, but other kind of people can be just as good. And we have to be more forgiving, not forgiving, we have to be more accepting of everybody, regardless of skin color, religion, anything. We're all just here on earth together, and let's do it nicely, whatever we're doing. And with the X-Men, it was such fun giving each of them a superpower. I couldn't think of any way to give them those powers, so I took the cowardly way out. They were born that way, and that worked for me. And they were. Oh, I got to tell you about my boss. My publisher said when I brought him the idea, he said, "Yeah, I like the idea, but you can't call them the X-Men." I said, "Why not?" He said, "No, I'm sorry, hold it. I wanted originally to call them the mutants." And he said, "You can't call them the mutants." And I said, "Why not?" He said, "Well, you know, our readers, they're not that smart." He had no respect for comic book readers. He said, "They won't know what a mutant is." Well, I disagreed with him, but he was the boss. So I had to think of another name. So I went home and I thought, and I came up with the X-Men. And I mentioned it to him the next day, and he said, that's okay. And as I walked out of his office, I thought that was very peculiar. If nobody would know what a mutant is, how will anybody know what an X-Man is? But he had okayed the name and I used it. I don't think my publisher was very smart. I can say that now because I'm not working for him anymore.
There you go.
Thank you, Stan.
Hey guys, we're gonna have to cut it short. So we just got enough for a couple more questions, and we're gonna end it with the lady right there, guys. Live.
Hi, Stan. I just wanted to know, what does it feel like to be the forefather of current American pop culture?
I'll show you why I'm such an interesting panel person. Feels good.
Thank you.
Hi, Stan. I was wondering, who is your favorite original Sinister Six member?
Who were the original Sinister Six members?
Or no, who's your favorite of all six?
Of the Sinister Six, which one is your favorite?
I don't even remember who they are.
It was Craven, Mysterio, Doc Ock.
Sandman, the comedian.
I kind of like Sandman. I like the idea that he could change his body, make it sandy so a bullet would go right through him, or make it rock hard so he could break down a wall. In fact, I liked all of them. They all had such great superpowers. I was very good at coming up with superpowers. I really think I was. I'm kind of and not so much a writer, I'm a superpower creator.
Thank you.
There you go.
Stan the Man Lee. Dylan Hodes, big fan, although I suppose we all are. I feel I speak for everyone when I say, in the world of Stan Lee, of all the heroes you've created, you're probably the best hero. And we all can be winners. So I have a question, obviously, that's why I'm up here. How do I phrase this? of all of your work, what's your greatest pride and joy, and what's your biggest regret?
What's your biggest pride and joy, and what's your biggest regret?
My biggest regret in the comic book industry?
Yep.
I don't think I really see. I think things worked pretty well for us. We turned Marvel into the best-selling comic book company, and they make all those movies based on them. I don't know what I would really want to change. The only way to change it and make it better would be if I owned Marvel, but somehow that never happened.
Hey, Stan, sorry to cut you off there, but one guy's asking, he's just in the crowd. He's showing a picture of you. You remember that picture that you did on the sofa, naked? Could that possibly be one of your biggest regrets or one of your biggest highlights?
Well, it's neither a regret nor a highlight, it's just something I did. There was this actor, Burt Reynolds, who was very popular, and he posed for a picture like, all the magazines were showing naked women, and just for fun, he posed on the couch with no clothes on, showing that a naked man could be in a magazine too, but of course he was covered up enough. I mean, you knew he was naked, but there was nothing showing. He had some cloth over him. It was just a funny picture. And one day, a little bit after that came out, some idiot in my office said, "Hey Stan, why don't you pose for something like that?" And I was an even bigger idiot than he was. But all the staff said, "Yes, Dan, you do it, you do it, you do it." They wouldn't do it, they wanted me to do it. I did it because I'd do anything for a laugh. And that's the picture, and it was all based on Burt Reynolds' picture. And maybe I was really just trying to show off how great looking I was. I don't remember.
There you go.
Thank you.
All right, last question, guys. Make it count.
Last question. Wow, that's dramatic.
Which actor do you feel did the best in portraying Spider-Man?
Which actor?
I'll be honest with you, I think they were all great. Every one of them did it the way it should have been done, the way the director wanted it to be done. I'll always have a sentimental feeling for the first one, that Tobey Maguire. But just because he was the first, and I thought he did it well. But all of them have been good. We're very lucky we've had great actors working with us.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
You're welcome.
So, that comes to the end of your panel.
I gotta tell you, you people are the best audience that anybody could ever wish for. I want to thank you for your courtesy, for your interest, and for just being you. I think you're all great. And of course, I can't leave without saying, Excelsior!